In today's digital world, we often emphasize the importance of digital accessibility, whether it's using checkers when you create a document, adding alt text to your images, or having a clear heading structures on your website. But how do these practices actually make a difference for people like me who truly need them? As a blind user, I'd like to share my experience navigating documents that weren't designed with accessibility in mind. Let me walk you through some of the challenges that I face when navigating those documents. Then I'll show you how a few simple adjustments can improve the experience, not just for me, but for all users.
All right, so today what I'd like to do is give you a better idea of what it's like to navigate a Word document or using a screen reader to navigate something like this. And I think the first thing that people notice is the speed of the screen reader. I'm using a software called JAWS. It's pretty common, but there's a few others. And here I will ask it to read the first line of this document. It said heading level 1, text in graphs. So I will slow it down for you because for an untrained ear, that could be confusing.
Slower.
Let me slow it down a little more.
Slower.
There you go. So now I'll ask it to read again.
Alt text and graphs.
Alt text and graphs, right? And so the first thing we're going to go over is alternative text, which we refer to as alt text. And there will be 3 versions. 1, 0 alt text whatsoever. 2, some alt text, and then 3 detailed alt text. It will be the same graph that I'll show over and over. And so let's go with the first one.
Heading level 2 version 1, no alt text.
So it said heading level 2, version 1, no alt text. We'll talk about headings a little bit later on. So what does this sound like?
Picture 4 image.
Picture 4 image. Thank you very much. There is no alt text. And I will tell you, this is like 90% of my experience on the internet. And that can be very frustrating. Now, let's go to the second one.
Page 2, heading level 2 version 2, ineffective alt text.
Ineffective alt text.
A graph of showing the growth of the global assistive technology market from 2023 to 2033. Image.
So it's an image that shows the growth of this market between those years, 23 to 33. Now, that tells me what it is. It doesn't tell me what's on the graph, right? So we'll go to the last version.
Heading level 2 version 3, good alt text.
Good alt text.
The bar chart titled Global Assistive Technology Market illustrates the market size from 2023 to 2033 in USD billion, categorized by product types. The product types represented in the chart include mobility aids, hearing aids and devices, visual aids, communication aids, and daily living aids, each distinguished by different shades of purple. The chart shows a steady increase in market size over the years, starting at $22.9 billion in 2023 and reaching a forecasted $36.6 billion in 2033.
Okay, so I'm pausing it here. So it tells me the growth of the market, tells me what are the different technologies that are highlighted, etc. So this is the right amount of information. I can choose to read the whole thing or not. And from a sighted user perspective, it looks the same. One thing we like to say also is that if it's on your website, having good alt text really helps, or even on social media, with things like search engine optimization, and really helps you think about what information you want to convey, right? When you design the site or when you post those images or graphs. So now the second thing I want to demonstrate, you've heard my screen reader say heading level 1, heading level 2. I want to explain what the heading structure is and why it's very important. So you have to understand that when you use a screen reader, you navigate pretty much everything just with keyboard shortcuts, right? Because I don't see where my pointer is. I don't use the mouse whatsoever. Don't use the touchpad, just shortcuts. Some of those shortcuts are unique to screen readers. And so could be foreign to the untrained users out here. But one thing that's key is, imagine reading a long Word document and always just pressing the down arrow to go to the next line. That's not a good way to navigate the document, right? And so that's why we have heading structures. And that's true for Word documents, but that's especially true for websites. And so what I do is I enable what we call hotkeys. I'll do that right now.
Quick keys on.
It said quick keys on. And now if I press H for heading or headers, it will not write H. It will just take me to the next heading.
Page 3, heading 1, heading structure.
And it said heading 1, heading structure. If I press H again.
Heading 2, digital accessibility quick reference guide. Go to heading structure.
It says heading 2 and then the title of that heading. Now, why does it say at heading 1, heading 2? Because that's the structure, right? You have heading level 1 is the key sort of chapters within the document. And then the heading level 2 is the sections, right, within each chapter. And you can add as many levels as you'd like, but of course, the more you add, the more complex the document is. So we typically recommend 2 to 3 heading levels. So I'll keep pressing H.
Heading 1, understanding digital accessibility.
Heading 1, understanding digital accessibility. And then if I'm not interested in that, I want to go to the next section.
Heading 2, what is digital accessibility?
The definition of digital accessibility, etc. Okay.
Heading 2, why is digital accessibility important?
Now I'm going to skip to the next page.
Page 4, heading 2, digital accessibility quick reference guide. No heading structure.
It's the exact same document, but with no heading structure. Now if I press H.
Page 5, heading 1, descriptive hyperlinks.
It takes me to the next section, which is hyperlinks. And so I missed all the paragraphs about digital accessibility. I missed the whole document. And that happens a lot to me, especially on the web. So now the next section, the last section, is hyperlinks. They're very important, not just for Word documents, but PDFs and obviously on the web as well, but even emails. And often what happens is the link just says click here. And I'll give you an example here.
Link, click here.
It said link because it's a hyperlink and my screen reader sees that. And then it says click here. So now if I press enter, it will click here. But I don't know what here means, right? It was just, it could be fishy. So the second one.
Blank out link, click here to learn more.
Click here to learn more. Okay, a little better. And now the last one.
Link, learn more about NOD's research projects in the Employer Disability Practices Center.
It says link, and then it tells me what would happen if I click on that link, which is something that you can design when you write that text. Obviously, click here is useless because we know that when we hear link, it's a hyperlink, and so we know to click on that. And then just write the full title. And again, this is very much about what information do I want to convey? What's the call to action? And so it helps with clarity overall. So there you have it.